Hi, this is Len Hinton, your child's science teacher here at Southern High School. I made this video because I want to talk to you about the end of course test, also known as the EOC test, your child will take at the end of my class. Specifically, I created this video to help you become familiar with the test and how to interpret your child's score. I will focus today on three aspects of the test. I want you to understand the purpose of the testing. I also want you to understand the basic test terminology that's included with your child's test score report. I also want you to understand how scores are interpreted and used by various stakeholders. EOC testing has two main purposes. First is to measure individual student achievement according to the standards set forth by the state of North Carolina. These standards are essentially the course material I will teach to your student. Secondly, testing measures the achievement by different groups of students. These groups of students could be delineated according to race or other socioeconomic factors. The overall purpose of testing is accountability, not only for students and teachers, but for school systems as a whole. After the test, your child will receive a score report that includes several statistics and scores. Among them are scaled scores, percentiles, and achievement levels, which I will detail in the next few slides. Scale scores are essentially achievement scores. They measure how well the student knows the material in the curriculum. These are the types of scores in which we're all most familiar with. In essence, they measure how many questions the students got right and display them according to maybe percent correct or number correct out of the total number of questions. Certain percentages will mark proficiencies. For example, scores of 70 or better might be considered proficient. Percentiles are a way to compare the student to the performance of other students taking the exact same test. For instance, if a student's score fell into the 75th percentile, this means that the student scored better than 75% of the students that took the exact same test. Conversely, this means that about 25% of the students scored better than this particular student. Once scaled scores are received, they may be divided into different achievement levels. Achievement levels are essentially ranking of scores to different levels. They're used again to compare individual students and groups. These scaled scores, or percentages usually, are assigned to different achievement levels, where high scores are assigned to the level 4, the highest level, and low scores are assigned to level 1, the lowest level. These levels are defined in different ways. Level 1, students have not mastered the material and thus may have difficulties moving on to more advanced material. In Level 2, students have shown some mastery but are inconsistent and have not shown enough performance to be properly prepared for the next level of learning. Level 3 students show consistent demonstration of mastery and are prepared to take on advanced material. The highest level of achievement, Level 4, the student shows superior performance and are well prepared for advanced material. Scores are used differently for students and parents, teachers, and the community. In general, students and parents can find out how their student fared, both individually and when compared to other students. They can also be informed on how their skills compare to others in terms of the job market. Teachers can use this information to reflect on their performance. One of the questions they might answer is, have I succeeded in imparting the required knowledge to my students? They can also use these test scores to help improve their performance in future classes. The community essentially uses these scores to understand if NC scores are improving and what areas are of concern. There are a couple of cautions in interpreting your child's scores. Again, these scores do not necessarily gauge improvement and are only snapshots in time. A student may have improved greatly, but may not be quite proficient yet. The ultimate question you may want to ask yourself is, good or bad in terms of scores? Do these scores actually reflect the learning of my child? And when receiving these scores, be careful to categorize children on the basis of one test score. It is not necessarily an indication of future performance. In conclusion, feel free to contact me with questions concerning not only the EOC, but any other types of questions you may have. And remember, it is an important test, but creating unneeded pressure on students can have counterproductive effects. And when receiving these scores, please interpret these results with a critical eye. And again, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to help you interpret these scores and plan a course of action. Thank you.